because I knew my son at the landing, I was very excited, then the fight would be over. So I'm not shocked all the results.
They're not really worried just when he was waiting in the room for you to get in there. Did you notice throughout the whole build-up that he didn't really want to be here?
People, take things different, like, sometimes they work against them, sometimes they work for them. I didn't really, think it was getting anything else. If anyone's across looking at me, you're going to be worried. You're going to be worried about, bad intentions. So I can say that one.
It seems to be a spiteful response.
No, I think it's just been a long time. I've missed a lot of things, and I just wanted to get in there. I did want to go more around, but it's been a long time. I got a lot of flowing. Couldn't get a nice shot, and continue. Maybe that's like
Physically, you kind of better than you ever looked at. Is it getting easier in the sense of getting more to the rock?
it's never either. Maybe I'm being more professional about it, and know what needs to be done to get to this level. And I've been in camp for so long, fantastic condition, which I'm in. I could have gone forever. So, a long camp with the injury, which needed to fight. Bizier tonight, mandatory.
John, you've worked with several world champions. How does Kell compare? He's starting to become a seasoned world champion. How does he compare with Nelson and Jimenez and all these other guys that we've had in the gym?
If I'm being really honest, and I'm not saying that just because I'm sat here, it's probably the best out of the lot. I think Naz was good, entertaining, but I spent a bit of time training Naz. Naz had power. I think Kell was actually a better boxer. He got a bit of variety of shots than Naz. I think sometimes Naz, he knew he could take guys out. There were times when he did, exhibit boxing skills, but towards the middle of his career, when he was defending his title, he was using a lot more power and neglecting the skill aspect of it. And I think that showed when he got to Pereira. But, obviously, Kell's been in the gym a long time. I've seen him develop from the 10-year-old kid into a world champion. And, he's coming for 30 now. He's probably hitting his peak. Maybe another 2 to 3 years where he needs to get in the big fights. So, I keep saying it, he's never been in a position where we've had to see the best of him. He got rid of Bizier today in 2 rounds, and that's what he had to do. He can't go more than 2 rounds or 4 rounds like Jojo Downs. It's mandatory, get rid of him quick, and then get to the big fights. And I think we're only going to see the best fights against the best kids because he's going to have to pull something out of the bag. And he's well capable of doing that, but when he sees an opportunity to take those guys out, he's not going to stand back and box for 12 rounds. So, if I'm being honest, I'd say he's the best.
Who would you want to fight next, Kell?
Anyone who weighs 147 pounds or even 54. I'll fight any of them fights, alright, any fight.
But you're saying you need a big fight. I mean, who's you're going to choose from a level? Who would be the candidate?
Who would be the guy? The 147. The big guys. There's no one, who can touch me at 147, I'll clean up. That's what I just need them fights, and I'll show everyone that I can do that.
Is there a logical, Kell said that you both said on Thursday, and kind of midsummer fight is what you're looking at, July fight. Is it Vargas? Are you looking at Vargas or will you look at Garcia? Both have been quite prominent in your
because of how difficult it is, because of how good it is. I don't think we're going to get multiple choices. I think it's going to be one-off, all the names we mentioned. And I don't think it's going to be Vargas or Garcia or Bradley to choose from. I think any one of those we have to grab immediately because what happens is everybody in boxing knows how good Kell Brook is. Carl Froch just comes to the corridor and you have to get into your fight. It is unbelievable.
Well, Fox believes he can be number one now.
Yeah, but he can. But we've been hampered by bad luck, injury, a little bit of ill discipline over the years, but that's not a problem anymore. Now we've cleaned the slate with our mandatories. We have 12 months where we won't have to fight a boxing mandatory again. You know, believe it or not, we want to fight big fights. That was a tough sell for me tonight, promoter. And I want to thank people Sheffield because there was over 7,000 people and the atmosphere was unbelievable. And the fight was average in terms of the billing, but we had to do it. He wasn't going to give us up. People don't want to fight Kell Brook. They certainly won't fight him if he hasn't got one limb. So we can't possibly give it up. I have always liked Tim Bradley fight. You know, I think he beats Pacquiao in terms of but Vargas for the WBO and IBF is a fight that I think can come in. If we have to go to America, we'll do it.
So it's smash and grab raid time on America.
He's done that before. We smashed and grabbed in Carson. We went over there, no one thought he'd beat Sean Bourne. He turned up, we nicked the belt, we said thank you very much, we went home again. But since then he's boxed Jojo Dan, Frankie Gavin and Kevin Bizier. And those aren't the names of the people at the levels that he can be beaten. He's had bad luck, many will be standing here or sitting here today, I promise you that, for being through what he's been through. But he's so good, so good. He punches so hard. About 2 minutes into that first round, Bizier was coming forward like this. I said, the uppercut's there, Kell. He threw it about 3 seconds later. That was a shot, would have knocked most of them. And it's not just, forget Bizier, it's what he did to him. I don't believe Danny Garcia, Vargas, these kind of guys would have done that to Bizier. I know they would have beaten him, but they wouldn't have torn him to pieces like that. He didn't know where he was. I mean, he was in tatters. But there's no point us sitting here saying he's the best welterweight in the world, he's the best pound-for-pound fighter in Britain. We've got to go and prove it.
But have you got to go there to do it?
Possibly. We'll do it. Whatever's the right move, we'll sit down, Kell and Terry and Dom, and whatever is the right move, we will do it.
And you're not bothered at all like going there to defend the title with the other reason?
Like anything, I've been over to America. If we had to go over, we'd have to go over. I want them fights, the hard guys, I want them big fights. What would be the best at in this sport and challenge yourself to the best fights and see really how many games we can go.
Gareth, it's a bit like putting your best work in, your best journalism for 50 quid a week. It's not going to motivate you, is it? And it's like with Kell, he has to do 12-week, 12-week camps for these guys, and he's got to do it because if he does a 6-week camp, he's going to come unstuck or he's going to look rubbish. So he's having to put the work in, you understand, to get these guys out of the way quick. When you've got an opponent in front of you who's a big guy, big opponent, big name, the training is so much easier because you know what's going at the end of the camp. And you've got a challenge, so you don't, you get up for the fight even more. And that's when you get the best out of Kell Brook.
I think that Don, the old Kell Brook, wouldn't have trained like he did in that camp with Kevin Bizier, because he didn't have to train like that, but he did, and that's discipline.
Eddie, how does the conversation go when you're trying to make these big fights? Is it,
No one fancies fighting Kell Brook.
will they return
Some of the
phone
message you
calls?
get back.
I know, because we've had it all along. That's why we have to fight the Bizier, to make sure we keep his belt. So luckily, we've got the back in the sky. We can box on pay-per-view. We can get the pot to bring him over. It's still difficult. Danny Garcia, I don't believe will travel. Bradley, I believe will travel. Vargas, I believe will travel. Thurman Moore, no, I don't believe they'll travel. I'd love him to fight Danny Garcia. I'd smash Danny Garcia. But he won't. We'd have to do that in America. Fine. Listen, if Amir loses well to Canelo, I'm sure we'll make that fight at the end of the year. But really, we're talking October, November. We want July. We want a big one in July at Bramall Lane, if possible. We've had massive support from the club. They're right behind me. I'd love to do it there. But again, we're realistic to know if we have to travel, we will. But it's my job to put all the options in front of Kell and Terry and say, you've got to choose what you want to do. And it has to be a big fight because we're all under pressure, especially me. Everyone wants it. It's my job to deliver it. I love it.
Have you had talks with Bradley?
Yeah, a lot. He nearly fought Bradley when he was IBF mandatory. Bradley offered him the fight with options and a tiny purse, but we're already IBF mandatory. Bradley will come. So you like Brandon Rios, you know, like when we were talking about that fight, he just started pricing himself out of the fight. And he told me, the team said they knew they were going to take a Tonkin. They'd rather go and fight Bradley. I mean, like, they'd rather fight Bradley for less money than fight Kell Brook.
And Bradley's been here, of course, since he won the WBC belt here against Junior 8 years ago, 9 years ago.
It's a great fight. But if he beats Pacquiao, it's a huge fight. But even if he loses a good fight to Pacquiao, it's still a huge fight. I'd love the Vargas fight as well. I'd love him to get another belt. You know, if he has to go to 154 pounds, that's something that I'll present to the team as well. HBO wanted us to fight Cotto. Cotto looked at him with Freddie Roach and went, we're all right, thank you. For now. Maybe later in the year. No blame him. You know, I know we mentioned Golovkin's name and, you know, you get the weight right, you never know. That's the biggest money fight out of everyone. He's got a style to beat him. But it's irrelevant us sitting here saying, we've got to actually prove it. And the only way to prove it is to get the fight. But like I said to him, when the calm fight fell through, and he was gutted, I said, remember, you're world champion. We're not sitting at number 3 or 4 in the rankings trying to find a big fight. So we're all